Hello everybody, welcome to a very special episode of Carlton People. Today, episode number 42, is a very dear friend of mine and now a housemate of mine, Ave.
Thank you.
What's up, mate? How are we doing?
Oh, we're doing good.
We've been talking about doing this for a while.
We have. Now
So,
we're here.
okay, so what we should do, as we always do whenever we meet people, is we talk about how we met. Who should do this?
I think we'll work off each other.
Okay. So you give me your experience. Okay. We met in Israel, and this is how it happened, and it's very relevant to the Carlton People series. So
I've been there for about 5-6 months. It's still relatively new. I was out at a party with a couple mates who it was already like 2 a.m. and they said they were done, and I wasn't done for the night at that point.
A couple of red cordials.
Yeah, a couple of those. And as soon as I said goodbye to my mates, my vision kind of turns, and that's when I remember seeing you.
So you're on your own at this point.
I'm on my
First
own.
time that you're on your own in Israel.
Pretty much, almost, yeah. At a club.
At a club. At the block in Tel Aviv. Shout out to the block in Tel Aviv.
Yeah. So I go up to, I just feel like he looks so familiar. I look at this guy. So, yeah.
I look like a Melbourne boy?
Something like that.
Okay.
Just a really familiar look. And I went up to you and I literally said, I feel like...
Yeah, you were like... Walks up to me, literally, this guy, you know, this is my third day in Israel. And so I obviously don't know anyone or anything. And yeah, like you said, about 2 a.m., just sitting there chilling in the smokers area, and you double take, and then you come up to me and you say, like, excuse me, mate, I feel like I need to talk to you. It's like you knew me, like I feel like I know you. And then I remember I asked 2 questions. The first one was, where are you from?
Yep.
Melbourne. And the second one was, who do you go for in the footy? And you said Carlton, obviously.
I said Carlton.
So here we are. 3 years later, we now live together. We both did Israel. Very similar experience, but different. Carlton boys. So, mate, we've spoken about this when we were living there. Mate, we've spoken about this for a while. So I'm very, very happy to have you on.
It's good to be here.
Now, talk to me. Where did it all begin? How did you become a Carlton supporter?
So my grandpa, similar to Lippy's story actually, when I heard Lippy's story, that my grandpa was born in Carlton. So it's kind of been in our family since. My sister somehow got to North Melbourne, but she doesn't really follow AFL, so we just can her.
Okay.
And yeah, the rest of us are all Carlton boys and girls.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a Carlton family.
You know, it's interesting. Obviously, we did have Lippy on as well. And, you know, living in Israel, I got to meet a lot of the Melbourne Jewish population who have sort of lived the double life, the Melbourne life, the Israel life. And, you know, obviously within the Jewish population, there are those who keep Shabbat and those who don't. And so when we had one of our many conversations about the footy, your experience watching the footy as like a little boy was very different to what it is now or what it is ever since, right?
Absolutely.
So what was experiencing the footy like? What's your memory?
Well, firstly, we didn't Saturday Shabbat was just, we never got to see games.
Correct. Yeah.
However, there was a guy growing up, we would go to we had guided group sessions on Saturday to kind of kill time where our parents would send us, like pretty much daycare.
Yep.
But you're an old kid here, and there was this guy who lived close to where we were, and he had a whiteboard out at his house, so he would put it out his window and he would update every quarter time and put the scores up, so we would just go past his house and I would be able to follow, and he did have this thinly veiled white curtain so you could kind of see, but he didn't really like us standing at his window watching a bunch of kids coming to his window, crowding out looking at the game. But that was really nice. Growing up, we had someone who did that. I don't know how that came about. That would have just been passed on.
So he was the messenger of the scores in a sense.
Pretty much on Saturday day.
Yeah.
And then Friday nights was never. It would be what's printed in the Age. At least the Age is what I got in my house.
Yeah.
So sometimes as well, growing up, the game was a bit of a later game, so they wouldn't have the footy score. They would give you like a half-assed article. So we used to get the Age at our house, and sometimes they wouldn't, because the game went later. It wouldn't post the result because by the time I went to print, it hadn't resulted. And really the daytime, like 5-6 o'clock on a Saturday, was when there was games and you wanted to know the result, but you couldn't because Shabbat wasn't out for another couple hours until the sun went down. So that's when you would rely on walking on the street and seeing a scarf out the window. and if you saw the team's colour in the scarf, then you kind of knew that.
That's how you knew who won.
That's how we knew who won. That was like the certainty.
Yeah.
And then there was always a report. You would go to synagogue to pray or whatever, and there would report heard this person won. Wasn't verified. Also, people could make stuff up, and you didn't actually know if someone was taking the piss or a result was serious. When I got a little bit older, I was a bit sneaky, and I would leave my radio on really low, like super power, like
so
not allowed. Yeah,
no one else would hear it.
Yeah, I wasn't really allowed to be doing that thing, so it would be like super low. Also, didn't want to like have it disturb where someone could walk past and know the radio was on. So it had to be really where you're putting your ear to the speaker to hear the game, and then just.
So, tell me about one of your first games, or what's your earliest memory of the club, watching a game, listening to it? How far back does the memory go?
Okay. Earliest memory, I would love to say I remember I'm born in 92. I'd love to say I remember 95 that we won.
Yep.
But really, like, going to the game, remembering was Waverley Park days.
Yeah,
They had like wooden benches, and I guess the dad took the family on a Sunday. We would pack into the Tarago. I have memories of
the people mover.
Yeah, the people mover. I have memories like waiting 2 hours to get out of the car park off Princess Park. I feel like it would have been either against Hawthorn in those days or St Kilda maybe.
Probably.
Did we play
there? Probably.
So I think we won those games. I really don't remember clearly, or
you just remember going.
I just remember going.
Yeah, okay.
And then I remember watching on Sundays. We playing in because we got to watch on a Sunday Carlton versus West Coast, and these were days where we were up and about.
Absolutely.
We would win.
Yeah.
We would win these games. Kind of going. I remember went to MCC. My grandparents knew MCC members, so kind of went back in the day.
Wow.
Then, but yeah.
Okay, so you kind of remember that. I mean, 99. So wait,
Absolutely.
99. The prelim would have been on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So same situation. You would have been so pumped up, and you basically you would have got the 100% confirmation once you saw the scarf on that day, or do you remember that?
That day I definitely remember. So that you can't forget it. So
of course,
it was at Menchie's house. Shout out to Menchie.
Shout out to Menchie. Yes.
Now Menchie's a massive Bombers fan. So it lined up perfectly.
Yeah.
Carlton playing
the rivalry
on Shabbat, and then I have a memory somehow we were climbing. There was a group of us together, and it's all a bit morphed now, obviously, the more time that goes on, but like clearly seeing the neighbours or the neighbours telling us, or there was something going on.
Yeah.
And I just remember so clearly the Murphy holding the ball up.
Like,
that tackle and that, like holding that ball up, Sean Wellman, mate. Like,
where are you going, mate? Yeah. Where are you going? Where are you going, son? You're going nowhere.
So that, like, I was definitely a firm bagger by then. And unfortunately, it's kind of been downhill since. What do we call it? The curse of the millennium.
The curse of the millennium. We've had, obviously, we live together, and we've had, 2 months now? This is probably right on 2 months, maybe a little bit more. And we've had many a conversation. Obviously, you're a Carlton supporter, big Carlton supporter, and you're what I would call a realist. You're a realist, whereas I need to be pulled into line a little bit. We've had, I wouldn't say heated debate, but we've had solid discussion.
Definitely.
So we know that the turn of the millennium becomes the millennium curse. But let's talk a little bit about where we're at.
Okay.
We'll come back to the millennium curse because I really want to get your take on, your take on the club. Where are we at? How are you feeling?
I think we're in as good as places we've been probably since 99, potentially even better simply because we're putting the right pieces in place, culture's getting there, or it's strong, we're bringing in the right people. Still don't agree with all the moves the club are making, but we're definitely on the right track. Got the right person at the helm who, we've got the right playing group, they're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I just think for us, we're not going to really know we've come until we've won 3 in a row.
Three games in a row.
3 in a row is like we're going to know. That's something we haven't done. We were reading the other day since 2016. And even then it feels like it was scraped.
Lifetime ago.
Yeah. And if we could get 5 on the trot, then we really know serious business.
Right. So you're one of those people that show me and then I'll start you know.
Well, I've seen that. Yeah, it's got to be shown me now. They've shown enough signs, mate. I'm all about. My mates make fun of me. They're Dows and the O'Briens and giving them a go. Who's someone I was big onto? I don't know.
You have been big on Lockie O'Brien. You have been.
I was big on him, and now I've kind of jumped a little bit off. We're getting that on. We're getting that on film.
We'll record that. We'll keep that in the bank.
We'll keep that
to see what you said about Lockie O.
Yeah, but no, really of that draft, Paddy Dow, I am feeling optimistic about them.
Yep.
But they've got to start showing something now going into the 21 season. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is we're in year 6 of the 5-year plan. So, remember we sold the 5-year blueprint, all good. And I do feel, I'll ask you, how do you feel the 2020 off-season has been from the perspective of, based on the plan to start really winning consistently?
So if you get caught up in the actual trades and value side, is he really worth a halfback flank? You're not going to be happy. But if you look at the bigger picture, I think we've done really well. Yeah. We acknowledge that anyways, it's a compromised draft. So if you're going to not go to the first round of the draft, this year is the year.
Yep.
So we brought in the speed that we need. The new rule change we were talking about really helps us. The fact that you can't move laterally on the mark.
Yeah.
So Facade and Williams, both who have real pace. And no disrespect to anyone on the team currently, but when you look at last year's games and kind of the players, the pieces who replace those, you really see where the growth will come from.
Yeah, for sure. Look, it's cutthroat, and you never want to talk too badly about the players, but the reality is you're right. Obviously Cam Paulson's just been delisted, and this is a guy who for many years, is he going to make it? Is he not going to make it? Full respect to him, but the reality, he just couldn't figure it out. And now there's no real players like that on the list. I think it's taken a while. Steve Silvani takes a lot of credit for the list in what he did at the beginning of the rebuild. But yeah, so are you optimistic that 2021 we're going to see it, or is it
still a little bit PTSD, as we all are, all us baggers are, but we need to see a bit more ruthlessness, like the Mitch McGovern we've discussed. Any other club or a strong club, Ken Hinkley at Port Adelaide, to use them as an example, I don't think Mitch McGovern is playing until he's 100% right in the squad. So we need a bit more of that cutthroat. The fact that Paulson was still getting games and then they delist him at the end of the year. If you're going to keep him on, give him another contract, then keep playing him. But why are you putting in games to him when you're just going to delist him at the end of the year? So such decisions, there's not much margin for error. You look at the great clubs. We went through Richmond's draft. It was just that rookie draft where they picked up those 3 guys. In the rookie draft, mind you. So we just need a little bit of magic, a little bit of things to go our way.
Some things need to go our way.
And that's where I'm at with, we're definitely on the right track.
Okay, that's good. Look, I think most of us feel that way anyway. I do believe that. Talk to me about your favourite memory or game that you've experienced. Because... Wait, before you do that, we should talk... Yeah, go. Because I've got
before we do it, because I need to think about it.
So okay, I'll give you some... While I'm telling a story. So, we became friends, obviously, and then we watched the 2018 Round 1 game. Is that right? 2018, where Charlie kicked 5.
Yeah, it was.
So, we're in Tel Aviv, you, me, Lippy, and a few others. Emilio was there as well. Yeah. So, that's one of my favourite memories, because that was like the first time I'd watched... a Carlton game there with friends. It was
True.
We've watched a couple. We watched that GWS game 4:30 in the morning. Got up. We had an American friend, Sam, who was watching his first Carlton game. So we sat through those just shocking times. So I get the PTSD and where it's come from.
I'm trying to think now, and you'll be able to correct me, but I'm struggling to find a win that we've enjoyed together. I know it's sad.
I don't think we have.
And if we haven't, then that's just...
We went to the Doggies game in 2019 when we lost by 3, Charlie kicked 7. Yeah. So we were at that. That was our first game together in Melbourne. But do you have any games, memories, moments?
One of the great ones... actually, you came to my house and you saw the Members magazine. I wouldn't say it's one of my greatest Carlton, but it does stand out when Chris Yaron kicked that goal from 50 against Geelong on a Monday where we were ridden off.
Yeah.
Also had a punt I was in like year 10, so I sent one of the year 12 boys to go to the
Oh my
TA,
God.
down to the
Oh
TA
my God, to the blue box?
Carlton were $4.50 or $5 to beat Geelong. It was on a Friday night. I think they had an out or whatever it was, and Carlton got over the line. And I had $50 on the game. I was so happy.
Oh, mate. You gambled responsibly that day.
Yeah, I gambled responsibly. But, it's probably the last bet I put on Carlton. Honestly.
Okay.
But yeah, so that Chris Yaron game, and then I got snapped. I was wearing my little brother's membership badge. I didn't have a member. I wasn't a member at that point.
Yep.
And I had my hands up like this, just looking like after I kicked that goal, like Yaron, yes. And someone snapped a photo, and it was put in the Carlton Members magazine of 2016.
Something like that. Yeah,
I think it was
something like that.
So if anyone has the 2016 magazine, Members magazine, feel free to...
Young A's in there. Yeah. And now you're... mate, you've gone from the season guide to Carlton People. I mean, it's a big step up.
Oh, it is a big step up.
It's a big step up.
It's a long time. Man, I've been hearing about this for a long time. So finally got the invitation.
No.
Yeah, so...
no, I do appreciate it.
To be here.
Before I let you go, because I know you're a man, you're a busy schedule, you do a lot. I mean, I don't want to take too much of your time. I need to know two things.
Yep.
Number one, I need to know if you could pick any player from any other team in the league and insert him into... It's a bit of a fantasy question.
Ooh,
it doesn't have to be a realistic question. Who would it be? And then second question is, when are we lifting up the next premiership? Or when are the men? Because I think the women are lifting the next premiership up this season, but when are these boys going to lift up the premiership?
Something's telling me to go for a Bont, because he's just so... It would have been Pendlebury maybe a few years ago, but like now Bontempelli just straight away, he's what comes to mind to imagine him and Cripper in the middle.
Oh, mate. Forget about Clayton Oliver.
Oh, man.
Clayton Oliver, mate. Doesn't even carry his bags.
So what are we going into the 21 season? I'd like to think we could have a red hot go for sure. We definitely need to... get there and lose, at least to a prelim and lose that, and then use that. You see historically, I feel like all the great teams had to have a couple losses before winning, going all the way. 2024, I reckon we can win a flag.
Cripps and Doherty lifting the cup up, or is it going to be Sam Walsh, Wiedering? Is it going to be a new captain, and who knows?
2024, that's my lock.
All right, done. Well, bruv, thanks for coming on.
Cheers, mate.
This has been your episode of Carlton People.